The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning. It's Friday and the weekend is starting. So I always say that I want everyone to have a safe weekend. My weekend usually starts today. My Mondays are Fridays. Good morning. How are you? How's everyone today? Well, I'm fine. And I want to say welcome to the ladies' room, Morris Media Live. We're in the studios. You can call in at 323-293-3375. You can check us out after the show at YouTube, Morris Media Studios, or you can check us out www.morrismedialive.com, and that's going down right now. So I want to say good morning again, and I'm going to start off with the marathon continues. And I have a segment on my show. It's called Nip's Corner. So I like to share something about him in that segment. And today I want to take a quote that he said, which was, when you start taking care of yourself, you start feeling better, you start looking better, and you start attracting better. It all starts with you. Remember that, Nip. And I'm in agreement with them that we have to take better care of ourselves. We have to make sure that our surroundings become better. If they're not already good. If they're already good, then we want them to be great. So we always want to try to excel so that we can be the best that we can be. And I'm in agreement, we have to do better. We have to treat ourselves better, especially as women. Well, everybody, but women, we just keep going. I want to give a shout out, made me think of my girlfriend, Tamiko T. Butterfly. I'm hoping that you feel better. You have to take care of yourself. Sometimes your body will just shut down. I don't care what the mind says. I don't care what you think you have to do. Sometimes when we're overdoing it, the body will just shut down. And with T, I think, you need to just get your rest. Take care of yourself. But we have to do that. And Nip was on that, taking better care of yourself, what you consume, even your energy, what you put out. You have to be good. It has to be positive. And I know life is not always positive, but we can take any situation and turn it into a positive. Whatever appears to be negative, it can always be flipped to a positive if we just focus on that. It's so easy to be negative. It is so easy to criticize. It's so easy to just go ham on any situation. But I think the more strength is shown when you resist that and you flip it. You flip it. Just simple. And it's what you have in your mind. It can move you positively, which is what we want. We want positive movement. I don't even want to use the N word, okay? Because I think that the positive energy, it just flows in the universe and it comes right back to you. Comes right back to you, whatever you put out there. A lot of times we don't pay attention to that, or we're not really understanding what our energy levels are and how important and how powerful our energy is. But I'm a believer that energy is good. And it gets better when it's positive. I'm digging that. So Nips, the marathon continues. I want to go a little bit into dealing with the financial corner here, which I read an article about Jay-Z, which was awesome. It says that Jay-Z becomes the 5th black billionaire in the United States. The 5th black billionaire. That's huge. And starting from a hip-hop perspective, Marcy Project perspective, to become the first billionaire in hip-hop. That's awesome. And that's showing dedication, hard work, and having a goal and a plan. It might not have been a plan from the beginning, but once you're in, and you're doing your thing, the plans just come and you have to stick to it. He beat out Puffy and Dre. Wow, he was the first one across the threshold. That's Jay-Z. He just did his thing. According to a new cover story published on Forbes, that Carter has accumulated a fortune that conservatively totals $1 billion. Okay? Thanks to his savvy business and his diverse portfolio. He has lucrative investments, acquisitions, and deals. Jay-Z's steadily growing kingdom is expansive, is composing of liquor, art, real estate, homes in Los Angeles, the Hamptons, Tribeca, and states and companies like Uber. He bought into Uber before it was really huge. So that's a really big thing, is to know how to make investments. And if you have anybody in your circle, on your team that's watching the market, you guys all pay attention to it. And you can invest a little. I think you should try. I was talking to a young man a couple weeks ago, and he had invested in a product called Beyond Meat, which is vegetarian meat. And it's in every store now. So you just never know, but you do have to try. Because we have to change the way we do things. We have to change the way we get our money. We just have to change. And I'm going to preach on that, and I'm going to speak on that, because I think that is important. I think that's really important. Excuse me, you guys. You can see my hair up here. But I do think that we have to make sure that we understand the investment process and what that entails and how that can change our lives. And it can be investing in stocks. I was listening to one of Jay-Z's songs, and he said that he had bought a painting for $2 million, and now it's worth, he bought it like maybe a couple years ago, and now it's worth $4 million. So imagine by the time Blue and the twins become adults, what that painting would be worth. So we don't only have to invest in stocks. We can invest in art, real estate, businesses, because I'm a firm believer that once we start doing that, then we can see the light that we can, as I spoke on before, we can do our own neighborhoods. We don't have to go to the government. We don't have to go to city council, because they've been in place for a long time and the neighborhoods are still the same. So the question is, what are they really doing for you? And if you can answer that question within yourself, then you'll know that it's not necessary to have them in the cleanup of your situation. We all can do that. We just have to make sure that we are working together as a team. And as I said, block by block. Block by block. But we have to really look at every aspect of our lives and say, how can we improve it? Individually first, and then as a whole. Because change has to happen. And the only way that that's going to happen is that if we apply it and we as a people make it happen. We cannot go to our government. I mean, OMG, Trump, Ilhan Omar, I believe is her name, the representative. He dissed her so bad yesterday. It's just, I don't even know what to say about anything like that. If you're going to make a statement about someone as the president, it should at least be a dignified statement. And if you can't say anything good about them, then I don't think you need to speak on them, period. And he spoke on her and the other ladies and said that they need to go back to their countries. And he said some other words that really was not pleasant. And that was just really disgusting for the president of the United States to stoop that low. I was really disappointed. I mean, not that he hasn't already said things, and not that I'm surprised, but it's just a point that who are your advisors? Where's your staff? Why are they not telling you that these things are wrong? You cannot represent the United States and tearing it down within the United States as the president, and that goes worldwide. You're tweeting, you're talking, and you have your whole rally chanting for them to go leave America? That's just ridiculous. I go along with business. I appreciate that aspect, but that right there was just totally disrespectful and totally ridiculous. As the President of the United States, there's no way you should say anything like that. You should not tweet that, and you should not have your followers chanting, because that's saying a whole lot about America. I saw this other video about a lady, and it was a Caucasian lady, and she was so fed up with what people think America stands for. And she started off her rant with, they came and wiped out millions and millions of Indians. So that gives us a clue of what this country was built on and why we have number 45 in there with the loose mouth. Anything you want to say in closed doors, that's fine. But as the president, you do not get up on the podium and speak ill of people who are representing this country. But I really dig her because she hit him back and she just said, I am where I belong, at the people's house, and you're just going to have to deal with it. Wow. She's not scared, and I like that part. She's definitely not scared. You know, a couple judges winded up in the river. I'm not saying it's a related topic, but it did run across my mind that, you know, things can happen and people do come up missing. But she definitely said that you have to deal with this. This is where I am right now. And he was upset with her for asking a question a while back about why is the United States giving so much money to Israel? And if any of us do any research on Israel, you know, it makes you wonder, why are you doing that? I know you want allies. We understand that part of it. But so much money when there's so much to be done in America? So she's hitting points and making him uncomfortable. And now he's irritated and he's firing back in a cheap way. But my hat off to Ihan Omar. You are appreciated, lady. You really are. Standing up, taking a stand, and believing in what you believe in, and being able to question the whole situation on the Israel thing. I just applaud you. I really do. And I also wanted to just continue on with back to the other list of the four other billionaires. One of them is Robert F. Smith, and of course Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, and another brother by the name of David Stewart. And David Stewart's company is worldwide. It's a technology, hardware, and software. So, you know, that's awesome. And of course, we know Michael Jordan has a lifetime deal with Nike. And then we know Oprah, she's handling this media thing like really crazy. And then Robert has a couple companies, well, to be a billionaire, not just a couple, but his companies are making really good money. So it is possible to do whatever you want to do to make as much money as you want to make. It's just a matter of setting the goal. It's a matter of staying focused, knowing what you want. And then I'm a firm believer in we do not have to invent the wheel, because there's nothing new under the sun at this point. Technology, okay, but they still got it from on this earth. But if you really just set your mind to it, say what you want, know who you are, process it, see it, taste it, feel it, and become it. You want to be a millionaire? Be a millionaire. You want to be a billionaire? Be a billionaire. Some people, money affects them. Some people, it doesn't. But for those of you who are striving, just stay focused. And don't let anything or anyone stop you. And it's easier said than done, of course, or everyone would be millionaires and billionaires. But I like what my grandson said. He said he wants everyone to be rich. He wants everyone to have money. I'm like, wow, okay, at 7, I get it. We all can if that's what you want. I mean, whatever you're striving for, it doesn't necessarily have to be financial gain. It could just be completion with whatever you're working on or whatever you want to do. Just complete it. Not always easy. You always have obstacles. But here's the obstacles. There can be challenges. And the challenges that may seem to stop your growth, as I said earlier, you could flip it positively and take those challenges and make them work for you. Make them work for you. And on the financial tip, I want to give a shout out to Elton Johnson. He was a credit man that was here with me a few weeks ago. I want to say congratulations on the birth of their new baby girl, him and his wife. That's awesome. But I also wanted to let people know that if you are having credit issues, the very first step is just making a call. Just making a call and clean it up, because it is important that your credit is good. It is important that it's clean. And it's not complicated, it's not hard, but you do need to make that call. And if you're interested in cleaning up your credit, you can call Elton at 323-972-3896. He does a fantastic job. And not only can you get your credit clean, they also offer a program that can help you generate money through cleaning up other people's credit. So while you're doing yours is getting done, you can also learn how to do others and generate capital. I think he told me he'd get 6 figures this year off for credit cleanup. It's not expensive, but it's just making sure that you have, it's in numbers and groups of people that you know you can assist and that will be willing to pay a very, very small fee. So for the credit cleanup, that's 323-972-3896, and that's Elton Johnson, and let him know that Brenda referred you, and he'll work with you. And if you'd like to call in and talk with me, you can at area code 323-293-3375. So I also wanted to speak on a little bit, because I am a real estate agent. And I now have a finance section on my show, which is happening right now. And I would love for people to just call in so that you can figure out what it is you can do. We are so quick to say, oh, I can't, or no, or just some type of fear. Let go of whatever fear it is, because ownership is mandatory. And if it's not for the older people, it's for your children. It's for your grandchildren. But purchasing is extremely important. The American dream. It does, we don't want it to flip it into anything else, but keep the dream alive and make sure that we apply ourselves. But if you have any questions on how to, you can always call me. You can always reach me. You can always email me. My email is really a really good way to contact me, which is BRADFORD, that's Bradford, CRR, that's Charlie Rich Rich, at AOL.com. If you have any questions, or you want to know something, or you're in a situation, because there's a lot more to real estate than just buying and purchasing property. I mean, that's the main part. But there are things that come along with that, such as, do you have a will or do you have a trust? Are you insured? It's just information that's extremely important. And I am Brenda Bradford, and I'm with ACB Real Estate in Cerritos, California. And that's ACB. I also wanted to move on, and I was looking at some articles and some interesting things, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the police. They raided YG's house in the Hollywood Hills. The judge granted the police a warrant to raid his house because of a shooting that took place in Inglewood. And YG is like, no way, was he there? But this is what happens all the time. All the time. Oops. All the time. And that's why I said we have to become more aware of the laws that's on this land that we live in. This country, this state, this city. We need to know what the laws are. Because just like this incident of them raiding his home, we need to be able to stand up and say, okay, that's not right. That's not right. And even knowing the laws when we travel, because now my mind went to A$AP Rocky. But we need to get better with our understanding of the laws. And once we do understand the laws, we can apply them. But as I said before, what my daughter told me, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. If you can't say what's the Constitution and how does that apply to you? The amendments that are always being amended, of course, to fit the judicial system's need at whatever moment. But the point is that we must understand the laws. We can't help ourselves. We can't help anybody. We can't do anything without having appropriate knowledge. We want to watch and stand and videotape and do all those things, but the most important thing is that we need to really start grouping up and understanding the law. Just as we group up for a concert, a picnic, a party, all the things that we do, we need to interject understanding the law in our daily movement. Because until we do that, we're going to be faced with the same stuff over and over. And I think it was Einstein that said, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, we're insane. He said that's insanity. And we keep expecting for people to do right, for people to treat you right, for people to make it right. No, it doesn't work like that. We individually have to do what we need to do to make it right. And as I said earlier, look at our communities, the ones that are not reaping with wealth. And we have city council people there. We have people in the House of Representatives. We have people in Congress to represent your district. And it's still the same. So we have to at some point take responsibility. We don't need them to tell us what to do and how to do it. But we've been conditioned for so long to just go along with whatever is happening until it's just become a way of life. And at some point we have to say that's not good enough for us. We have all the swag, all the style, all the charisma, everything. But we're not using our brains that we have to make our situations better. And until we do that, we're going to continue to be faced with all this crap. And excuse me for using the word crap, but that's what it is. Looking for the government to come and set your neighborhood straight to stop what's happening in your... No, it's block by block. It's block by block, black and brown. Block by block. And that's not to exclude any other race, but the majority of the neighborhoods that are not in great condition is black and brown. And that's because of us. We have to do better. We have to change things. We have to. I was reading an article about Black Wall Street in 1920. And I'm going to speak on all these things continuously because we need to get it. They had so much money. They had banks, housing, everything you needed in a community they had it. And they got bombed. 9,000 black people got killed. And they called it a riot. No, it was not a riot. It really appeared to be a massacre out of evilness, out of vindictiveness, and out of hatred. But I'm going to use Black Wall Street as an example and flip all that to a positive to show that if we could do that, then we definitely could do that now. That's running your own community. I'm not saying anything, interracial couples, all that. I have no problem with any of that. You can move and do whatever you want. However, I'm just saying for African Americans and Spanish in America, we have to do better. We have to go to the next level. And that's really ownership. Ownership of our own neighborhoods first. And then ownership of our cities. If we ride through the hood and it doesn't look pleasant, then we're responsible. We have a mentality that needs to change. And I was just so disgusted after reading the article about Black Wall Street, and it was just pure hatred. And I mean, 45, I don't know if he's pumping this stuff. I just get the feeling that you're bringing this country more divided than you are bringing it together. And making statements about Omar yesterday is a prime example of Where do you want the country to go, and why are you leading it down a path of destruction? You have that much time to tweet about her, go check the ocean. You have that much time to say all these negative things about someone else. Do something productive. Our ocean is dying. And I don't understand big companies. You're going to be in the same situation, the rich and the poor. You'll have a little more money to do a little bit more, but you're not going to be able to get in the ocean either. You're killing everything in the ocean. Dumping in the ocean. From oil to trash, plastic, all that. I saw something on the internet, and it was an island. And when I first looked at it, I was like, oh my God, what is this? It was an island of plastic in our ocean. And it was very disgusting. So you guys are making this stuff and don't know how to get rid of it. That's ridiculous. Just so much stuff that we need to get better. There's so many plights. There's so many fights. There's so many things happening. But we do have to narrow it down and I think pick one. But we all need to be responsible to changing our society, changing our environment, changing our surroundings. We each have to be responsible for that. And have some form of accountability. Jeepers. But I wanted to say, back to YG, I think that now his mind is kind of changing. And I think he's seeing things from a different perspective. As they would say, a bird's eye view. A bird's eye view. And, he did do the song that said F45. So any little thing or any movement that he do, it's under scrutiny. He's being scrutinized. And they're going to come for him because now his lyrics are changing. Now his mindset is changing. And now he understands the importance of our people, development, growing. And whenever that happens with anyone that can step out of the box of the norm, it always becomes a problem. It always becomes a problem. And that's why they have us so tied up with fake television. The housewives, this one. I mean, they even saw, I saw the little ladies of Atlanta, some little bitty midgets. Come on. Fussing, fighting, and arguing. So the question I had to ask myself before I turn on a housewife or any of that, why would I be attracted to that? I'm positively happy that the ladies are making money. That part I'm not going to lie about. Anybody that can change their circumstances financially, I respect it, I understand it. But why are they fighting and arguing, and why is that so attractive to us? To see somebody else fighting, arguing, and talking about each other's personal lives and business, all on television. But they can feed our minds with that because it keeps us distracted from what we really need to be focused on, which is our own development. I'm not knocking it. My daughters did reality television. Excuse me. So I'm not knocking it in that fashion. I'm just saying that as I look back over that and I'm watching it today, glimpsing at it, let me say that because I refuse to sit down and watch it. But as I glimpse at it through passing or flicking the channel or whatever, I'm just really mind-boggled on how this is so acceptable in our society. I lost my phone. My iPhone. Then I turned around and I had another phone. I had it turned on. As soon as I walked out of T-Mobile, I dropped it. And it cracked and I couldn't use it. Wiped out all my contacts, did everything. So then I got another phone. But before I had the other phone turned on, I said, you know what, let me try to figure this out and flip this into a positive because that's thousands of dollars that I just lost through phones. So I said, okay, instead of me looking at it as a loss, I said, well, what can I do about this? Nothing I could do about iPhone's gone. My other phone's cracked. I have another phone. Now, something inside of me said, Brand, just hold up. Don't even turn it on. I went 7 days without my phone. And I'm sure everybody would scream at doing 7 days without a phone. But in that 7 days, you guys, I read a whole book. I got so much accomplished. I mean, I was just astounded at myself that, oh my God, how much time I spend trolling the phone. Whether it be for information, pleasure, whatever it is, just check your phone and see how many hours a week you're putting down on that phone. And maybe if you could just pull back just a little bit and put some of that time into something, building your mind, changing the circumstances, doing a little research, researching a law that you could share with somebody on Facebook. I mean, if we could do things like that, that might really help us. You know, I'm kind of old school, so I do have the old school traditions, and some of it we need new stuff. Okay, it's just what it is. It's old. So if we took a little time away from the television, a little time away from the phones, and did a little bit more research, a little bit more investigating about where we live, how we live in, the areas in which we're living in, just anything of a positive nature that can help, then I think that would be really worth it. I think that would be really worth it. I think we really need to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. My shirt is looking a little crooked, you guys. But yeah, we just have to dedicate some time to something of value. A special person in my life always sends me all type of information and all type of things, showing me what is going on around America. And that's the one good thing about the Facebook, the internet, all this stuff, is that you can see what's happening in other states, around the world actually. But I saw a little clip about these little girls and little boys. They were riding their bike. And I think I shared it on my news feed. And they rode over into the other side of town. They African-American children, so they rode to the Caucasian side of town. The kids over there were so full of hatred. The children, these kids are like 8, 9, and 10, throwing rocks, calling the N-word, saying horrible things, pushing one of the girls. It's just like, what are we breeding? I mean, I believe we need separate states, to be honest with you. You know, I think we can do North Carolina, South Carolina, work over there in Georgia. We need our own states so we can do the Black Wall Street, so we can run our own thing and show what real true love is and what true togetherness is before we completely lose it, because we're living in their time and in their zone, and we're picking up some real bad habits. But I was so disgusted because the little girl, she was so innocent. And just from the bottom of her heart, she was like, we don't do that when they come over here. We don't do that. And then one of the little girls was so angry. She was just like, I can pick up a rock. And if he hits me with that rock, you know, it made her want to do something violent. So we have to be really careful about what we do and what we say and how we act. And our children, we have to really teach them to be better. One of the girls, she was upset and angry, little girl. She said if she want to pick up the rock and throw it back. And I'm a believer, if you slap me, you need to get slapped back. Right or wrong, that's just what it is. Because if you don't want to be slapped, then you have no right slapping anyone. If you don't want to be cursed out, you have no right cursing at anyone. But the one thing that I've learned in this lifetime that took me a long time to get is that you really, really have to treat people the way they treat you. And it does not matter who they are. It just does not matter. Because until you do that, the disrespect, the boundaries that people cross, they will continue to do it. I'm not saying be mean. I'm not saying talk crazy to nobody. I'm just saying know what your boundaries are, what is acceptable to you, and just know what you do to others. Do you want that back to you? That's why I believe in the energy. If you're giving off goodness, good vibes, and love, you should be getting that back. And if you're not, then you need to move on out of that circle of people. And it doesn't matter who it is. It just doesn't matter. because respect is something that everyone deserves. They say you have to earn it, and I understand that perspective. But off top, out the gate, we deserve it. Now it gets down to who's respecting you, who's not, and if they deserve to be treated the way that they treat you. I think so. Think so. And if you did that, your little spear of people, it'll either get larger or it'll get smaller. Because Nip also said that if your spear, if they're not encouraging you, if they're not pushing you, if they're not giving positive energy to you, then you are locked in a cage. Unknowingly, and that's the sad part. And why? And then I heard another one I want to speak on too. He said that if you are loving somebody, you're doing everything you can for them. You're showing them that you love them. You're doing everything. I don't care if it's relationship, mother, daughter, father, son, sister, brother, cousins, whatever it is. But you're loving them. And the same person that you've given all that love to could turn around and treat you in a bad way. You need to move on. We all have to do better in every area. And if each of us are doing better, we'll see that around us. We just have to. We really do. The other thing that I was reading and finding quite interesting is that Kanye West and Kim West, they are working with Donald Trump to get A$AP Rocky released from jail. He was arrested after a fight in Sweden. Now, members of Congress say it's a human right issue. That's like, whoa, according to the Washington Post. And then TMZ chimed in because they were the first to report on June the 30th the fight that led to his arrest. They said that him and his crew, they kind of beat up this guy in Sweden, leaving him battered and bloody, in the streets. It's a so-called vicious attack. But the next day, it was reported and it was filmed that the rapper was really trying to defuse the situation. And that was posted on Rocky's Instagram, where he said, we don't know, that he didn't know these guys and they didn't want trouble. But the guys followed them for blocks. And maybe that's the thing over there in Sweden, because a couple other people have gotten into situations over there similar. But here again, you're in another country. If you don't know the laws in America, you really, how you going to know the laws in another country? But as a traveler, I believe that your team of people are supposed to advise you of what's happening in that country. What are the do's and the don'ts? Before you step foot in any country, especially as an entertainer, one of the things I think that should be understood is, what are the laws and what are the do's and the don'ts? Because there have been multiple rappers in different countries getting caught up in situations. Your team have to be better. There's no way you should be traveling and not understand what the laws are. And if someone is following you, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying that what they're saying is true, but there are proper procedures. Proper procedures. The proper handling of people is necessary wherever you are. Whatever you're doing. It is a thing called the proper handling of people. It's just like us here in the United States with the police. There is a proper way to handle the police. You do not hold court right there. If they're giving you a ticket, you can't fight it. He said you ran a red light or a stop sign. Okay. That's not the place where you handle the situation. You go to court. Bring your proof. I mean, we know the justice system is injustice, but at least utilize it. And utilize it to your best ability. But you cannot hold court on the streets. You have to say, okay, I'll take the ticket if that's what, if you're getting a ticket. Sometimes you get a warning. I want to say my daughter was stopped the other day and the officer gave her a warning. And I thought that was really, all the cops are not bad. Some of the guys really took the position because they really are here to protect and serve. And some people really do believe in that. Some people don't. Some are police, because that's like a little gang. I'm not even sure if any of the drive-bys or any of that stuff is really done by who is, the opposite gang. I don't know if the police are involved in that stuff or not. Just to keep the stuff going. Because who really wants peace when your job depends on unrest and unpeaceful behavior? If there were not criminals and all these things going on, the judicial system, would not exist. So, you got to look at it from a lot of different perspectives. But he is over there still, and there are a lot of other entertainers that are backing A$AP Rocky. Quavo, he said he faced harassment when he was in Sweden, one of the Amigos. Then, of course, you already know what happens. When one little thing happens, the news, the media start digging and coming up with all type of other stuff. Now, A$AP Rocky is going through a really trying time right now because he is incarcerated in another country. But the media pulled up statements that he made in 2015 saying that, he said, A$AP Rocky stated, someone asked him about the political aspect of the police brutality. And he said that I'm not an activist. I'm not doing this to be an activist. But what happens is that when you get a leading role in whatever it is, it can be music, theater, political, wherever, whoever, then there is a responsibility to come with it, whether you acknowledge it or not. No one's saying that you have to, but it puts you in the forefront and make you become one of those people that will be questioned. And for you to take the stand, that you're not an activist, but right now you need somebody. So that's why we have to be very careful about what we say and how we answer things and what we do. 2015, I'm sure he couldn't possibly fast forward to 2019 and recognize he is now in a jail in another country. And you need those political activists. You need somebody to come over there and help. You need them to use their political connections. You need somebody. But I'm just saying that you don't have to be responsible. I'm not saying that every rapper should be responsible for everything that goes on in the community, but I am suggesting that you do be aware of it because you never know when you'll need the help or where you could give the help. I think it comes with maturity and growth, though, because as I look at Jay-Z, and I speak about him a lot because from his background, his transformation is just wonderful. And he's one of the products this is the final product of what could happen. But he reached out and helped a lot of people that were in very bad situations. But we don't hear about it. We don't hear about it. And we should hear more about it because maybe it'll open the eyes of people who do have a platform and they can speak up and speak out to help at least organize our restructure because we need restructured. And mentally, first, we have to change a mindset. But I do want the brother to get out of prison, and I am glad that people are reaching out and trying to help him. And hopefully that will set the pace for the rest of the rappers or anyone traveling abroad or anywhere. The very first thing to do is understand the laws of the land. But if we understood to do that here, it would be automatic for us to do it anywhere else. And that's why I keep pushing. We have to do better with understanding the laws in the country that we live in the city that we live in the state that we live in. Because we will not change anything until we understand those laws. And just as they use those laws to do so many things that's not of a positive nature to African Americans and Spanish, people, we need to be able to flip it and reverse it and use those laws to get out of whatever situations that may arise. And not all white people are bad people, and I'm not saying that. So please don't misunderstand me. And then I want to go in a little bit with Tiana Taylor. I saw a clip of her going ham on one of the guys in Floyd Mayweather's entourage. After she asked him something, and then he came back with a really nasty comment towards her. And that right there is just showing, like, we don't even have respect for each other. She was going ham because she was disrespected. I think it was Malcolm X that said the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. Although we do a lot of disrespecting on ourselves, we bring a lot of it on, but it's just a lack of knowledge, a lack of information, and not really understanding the process. We do. But we are so disrespected. So disrespected. She said one thing, asked a question, and then all of a sudden she's this or that. Are you saying something really obnoxious to her? That's crazy. But she did go ham, and it's nothing like a mad black woman. And we do have to contain ourselves, ladies. We really do. You know, I was speaking on my little butterfly. I called one of my coworkers and friend a butterfly because the butterfly transforms. But we have to understand that we have to take better care of ourselves because nobody around us, you know, they love us. But to really put that care and attention down to us, we have to do it. We want to do everything. I do everything. You know, I just really try my best to do as much as I possibly can. And there are times when there is an unappreciated feeling going on. But I usually push that to the side, and I don't look for my appreciation to come from anybody else anymore. Now, I used to, but I don't anymore. I appreciate myself. I love myself. And although I want my circle and I want my people to love me, I understand that sometimes love is hard. And sometimes people don't know how to love. Even if you educate them, raise them, and teach them, they still will fall to whatever they are most around. If you're around unloving people, then your love level goes down. You know, it's draining. Just dealing with anything of a negative nature, it could be draining. So that's why I had to learn that I can't look for anybody to provide happiness for me, joy, peace. Those are things that live inside of us that we have to be responsible for to make sure that we're displaying that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People are designed to, you know, we balance each other off. And it's either we're balancing each other in a good way or we're balancing each other in a way that's not so good. And as I'm going to continue to say, if it's not good, run. Get away from it. You don't have to live under stressful conditions. I know we all, you know, have a sense of obligation to certain situations and circumstances. But the one thing I have learned in this life, if I have not learned anything else, is that I am responsible for my happiness, for my peace, for my joy. And when I allow other people to take that away from me and diminish it, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do for myself, which is uphold myself at all times. And it is not easy. You could be driving down the street, somebody will cut you off and then turn around and give you the finger. Really? What? But even if that happens, hey, I usually slow down, let them, you in big hurry, let me pull over. I'm going to let you go. I'm not about to go fast with you or try to cut you off because you cut me off. No. I don't have the energy for that. I don't want to put my energy on anything like that. But we just know that all of us just know or must know that we have to do better with how we handle all type of situations. It'll be less stress. And then back to Tiana. So she was so upset, she lost it. I was embarrassed of the fact that she went so ham. Not that she didn't have a reason to do it. It was just the fact that you are a public figure and that you have to maintain yourself even in the worst possible situation. You have to be in control. But it all stemmed from her being disrespected. Okay, moving forward. All right, now this was something I was really, I don't know, I kind of looked at it in a way that I was like, oh, here we go. You know, P. Diddy is the master of reinvention. He will reinvent himself no matter what. Love it. Love it. That's the only way you keep moving forward and just chasing your goal. It is to reinvent yourself. And he's a master at it. You can call him a whole lot of things. But the one thing he's going to do is stay relevant. And he is going to reinvent himself on every level. I read an article that he's coming out with Making the Band 2. Okay, I was a fan of Making the Band 1. I did watch that because that was about the progression of young African Americans moving forward. Although it was in the music industry, I still felt like it was giving them a lane. But at the end of it, to be completely honest, and I love P. Diddy. I love, everything. I love him striving. I love him showing how to. I love him, when I said earlier, you don't have to invent the wheel, you don't. All you have to do is watch people who are in the lane that you want to be in. Just watch them. You don't have to do exactly what they do, but you can use that blueprint as a way to help you set your own blueprint up. And P. Diddy is a master at staying relevant. So he's doing Making the Band 2. And I was a little disappointed after Making the Band 1. I thought that I was going to see Chopper. I thought I was going to see the little chick spitting and really doing it, deals and their life changing and all that. And it just didn't happen for whatever reasons. I'm not saying it's completely his fault. I'm not putting blame anywhere. I'm just saying the outcome that was expected didn't happen. From, day 26 got some shine. Danity Kane probably got the most shine. But it's just, I don't know if he does that just for himself or if he really does it for the people. But I hope that round 2, you do some improving. And you make sure that those young kids, whoever win, really wins. Wins in life. Change their lives. A little moment of fame is cool. But if you really, really, really about it, let them people rise. Rise. You almost a billionaire now. So you can open up that door and really open it up and really allow the people to really push forward and become. Those people went through all type of stuff on that show. And then just to come out empty-handed, it didn't fit right. So if you're going at it again, Mr. P. Diddy, go at it and let these people shine, like for real. Not just on the series, but once it's over. Let someone really win. Those people went through a lot. And young and trying to get it and thinking that, oh, this is it. And then get your little dream crushed. But also, everybody has to take responsibility. If he opened up a platform for you, then it's up to you to market yourself and keep it moving, whether he does it or not. That's another perspective. That's another perspective. And then, okay, I want to talk about When They See Us. That was a very hard movie for me to watch. Very hard because, like I said before, we are still fighting Marcus Garvey's plight, Frederick Douglass, W.E. Du Bois, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad. These plights are just constantly going on. And when I saw the movie, I was so just disturbed. And that's another reason why we need to know what the law is. Any one of our sons or daughters get caught up like that, we need to be able to go in there with some facts and dig deeper. I think we could do a better job than half of the attorneys who went to law school. And although they are nominated, one of the guys is nominated for Emmy, I believe. They are nominated for 16 Emmy Awards. I don't care anything about an Emmy Award. What I think should be focused on is that we're still living like that in 2019 and that we need to do something different. We need to take that example and utilize it. We need to take that whole movie apart piece by piece and never allow anything like that to happen to our youth again. It was very disturbing, along with all this injustice. And as I said earlier, we have to take the responsibility and we have to flip it. We have to flip it. And I want to give a shout out to two people because I believe we're about to shut it down. Okay, I want to give a shout out to Black Sam Nip's brother because for holding it down, for still moving forward, for still just making things happen. Much love to you. And I also want to give a shout out to my son, my oldest son, Karan. His birthday was a couple days ago. And you're in Vegas. I want you to have a really great time. I want you to know I love you and you're super special. Bro, as they say, bro. You are the bomb. And I'm so proud of you, of your achievements, your accomplishments, just who you are as a person. I'm just grateful and I'm honored to be your mom. And last but not least, I wanted to give a shout out to my middle son, Quade. He started a food cart, Mega Vega. It's a vegan. It's a vegan stand. And he is doing so wonderful. I want you to know I'm so proud of you for living your dream and pushing forward. So it's Mega Vega. Look it up on Instagram and check out the food if you are a vegan or even a vegetarian. It's absolutely scrumptious. He made me a burger and first, I'm like, I was a little skeptical because I was on turkey. But then after I tried the burger, man, I sat there and I said, okay, Brenda, are you being greedy or are you really hungry? I wanted another one. I didn't take another one, but I literally wanted another one. And I tried this vegan hot dog. Oh, my God, it was so delicious. The vegan chili was delicious, the vegan spaghetti. I just want to give a shout out to you, Quade. You're doing a really fantastic job. And I am so proud of you for pushing forward and not giving up on yourself or your dream. I want to say, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in to the Ladies Room, Morris Media Live, and the marathon continues. It's a culture, you guys. And I'm out.